Hey everybody, my name is Brett with jerseyguysballs, and today we're going to talk about how and why we ultrasound our ball python collection. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's get into the why we ultrasound our ball pythons. We ultrasound our ball pythons for a couple different reasons. First of all, we want to know exactly where each female is in their follicular development as we're going through the breeding season. This way we can breed them at certain follicle sizes. So we try to breed once at the 15 millimeter mark and once in the later 20 millimeter mark. So this kind of saves us. We try to do 2 pairings for each female. Sometimes we get to 3 if it's a first time female, but we don't have to overbreed our males, which saves them deeper into the season before they go off food. Alright, so getting an ultrasound can seem very intimidating just because it's a big price tag for something that's not snake. Obviously you want to put most of your money towards snakes, and that's what's going to be the biggest investment for making money back in the future, especially if you're looking at this as a business. However, investing in a nice ultrasound will really help you up your percentage on what girls go, and especially saving males during the breeding season. There's a couple different ultrasound options. I know there's been a couple other videos on them. There's a cheap option, and then there's a couple other mid-range options, and then there's super expensive ones, which the biggest breeders have. This is a contact ultrasound. You can find it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. This works great. It works great for us. It was the one we bought when we were just getting in. We have had no problems. If you do get this one, you got to make sure you get the flat probe. But it works great. You can see the follicle super clear. Just takes some getting used to when you first get the ultrasound. I think Breeders Circle sells one ultrasound. It works great. I think it's a little bit more expensive than this. This is probably going to be right around $1,200. That one might be around $2,500. You don't need to get a super expensive ultrasound that's $5,000, $10,000. These work just fine. Save that money and invest it into snakes. Obviously, the better ultrasound you get, the more clear picture you'll get, the more options you'll get with the other things that the ultrasound can do. You don't really need it. But that's about it. If you have any questions on this ultrasound, feel free to reach out to me. Alright, so let's get into the how we ultrasound our ball pythons. It's going to be a little bit different for every female and where the follicles are in the body, but usually it's around 2/3 of the way down the body. So if you go from the head, take a third, and then go to another third, that's right around where you'll find the follicles. If you go on and see a bigger blob than you're expecting, that's probably going to be the gallbladder, which I'll try to show you here. Right after the gallbladder towards the tail is where the follicles are going to be. So this female, I'm expecting to be right around 10 millimeters, and that's towards the bottom of the millimeter scale. It pretty much goes from 0 to 40, and when they hit 40, they're probably going to have ovulation and a prelay shed fairly soon. So let's get into this female. This is a younger female, so I'm expecting her to have a little bit smaller follicles. And then we'll go start 2/3 of the way down. And kind of just want to go back and forth, aim up and down the female. And as you can see, these are the follicles already. So you can see there's a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the more you go down the body, you'll even see more. So on the ultrasound that you have, you'll be able to freeze the screen right here. And it's important to freeze the screen because that allows you to measure the follicle size. So as you can see, you go from one side to the other, and this female is right around 9 millimeters. So that's definitely towards the bottom of the spectrum, and that's early follicle development. So there's a couple different ways to use that for your breeding process. If it's a first time female, right around 9 or 10 millimeters, we'll try to get the first lock in just to see if it'll spur some follicle growth. And then right when they hit the 15 millimeter mark, that's where you definitely want to get your first or second lock in, because that'll definitely spur the follicle growth into the 20 millimeters. So let's get into a female that's right around 15 to 20 millimeters. Alright, so next we're going to get into a female that has between 15 and 20 millimeter follicles. This is a super pastel zebra hypo, and she was actually just bred for the first time. You can hear her hissing. She was bred to a ultramel hypopod. So it would be, we could hit hypos, triple het, zebra, ultramel pod. Alright, so let's get into it. Again, we're going to start 2/3 of the way down the snake. And right away, you can see a decently big follicle on the screen. Try to get it for you. You can see a bunch of them. There's 1, 2, 3. And the goal is to just find the biggest follicle before you measure. So we'll take that one right there. Alright. From here, basically put this female back. When you go in to measure, hit measure, distance, go from one side to the other, and you can see that is 16 millimeters. So that's a perfect time to get your first lock, or if it's a first time female, you want to get your second lock right around there. Getting your lock right here will spur them to keep growing their follicles into the 20s most of the time. Alright, so moving up into the next follicle size group, this is a female that I'm expecting to be between 25 and 30, maybe a little bit above 30. So this follicle size, it's important to note that you need to get your last lock in. Your goal should be to get your last lock in right before 30. If it's at 30, it's alright. I find that anything past like 33, 35, they're either going to go or they're not going to go. But if they hit 35, they're probably going to go, and you don't really need to hit that last lock anymore. Alright, so again, just like the other ones, we're going to start 2/3 of the way down the body. The bigger the follicle size, the easier it is to find them. Way easier. Alright, so we're about 2/3 of the way down the body. Now, as you can see, there's big follicles on the screen. Towards the bottom. And there's a bunch of them. So again, you're still going to want to find the biggest one that you can. Doesn't matter if it's width or height, just find the biggest one that you can. I'm going to use that one right there in the middle of the screen. Alright, so as you can see, this is one follicle right here. That's growing pretty good. Move the female. Alright, so again, you're just going to want to measure that follicle size from the biggest point to right about here. So this female is right around 27.9 millimeters. You can go directly wide. If you try to find the farthest point from farthest point, it's probably from right here to right here. And you can see she's probably right around 31 millimeters. And it's okay to use that 31 millimeters, even though it's not like from side to side. And it's still the same thing. It's a follicle is a follicle. The biggest point is the biggest point. So again, that female, we already paired twice, and she's probably gonna go for us. I want to see her to get to 35 millimeters before I'll truly say she'll probably go for us, but I'm about 90% sure she'll go. Alright, so getting into our last follicle size that we're going to talk about, this is a girl that's over 40 millimeters. So once they hit 40 millimeters, if they're still eating, keep feeding them, but most of them are going to go off food fairly soon, which means they're done eating, they're going to ovulate soon, they're going to pre-lay, shed soon, then you can start to expect eggs. This is a pastel Batman. She was bred to the double het monsoon clown, so we're hoping to hit a Batman that's 50% het monsoon. That'll eventually prove out for us. So let's get into ultrasound there. Again, she should be over 40 millimeters, so they should be super easy to find. The super nice thing about this ultrasound is that this screen is basically 40 millimeters wide. So if you see a follicle going across this whole screen, you pretty much don't even have to measure. I'll measure just to show you guys. Alright, so you can see here, there's one big follicle here. So I'll hit freeze. Then again, you're going to come in and measure furthest point to furthest point. So I'll go from here all the way up to here. And you can see she's right at 39.5. So again, this is the perfect size to no more breeding. Feed them if they're eating, and once they go off food, keep looking for that ovulation and expect to pre-lay shed soon. Alright, so you finally used your ultrasound, you measured the follicle size. The next thing you have to do is to make sure you keep track of where the follicle sizes are so you know which females need to be bred when. We use a masking tape system. The blue masking tape on the right side means the girls aren't up to weight yet. These are any girls that are younger, still getting up to that 1,300 gram, 1,500 gram size before you breed them. Same thing with the blue follicle or the blue tape though. You can use it, we don't have any over here. We put on the left side if they haven't been bred for the year yet. And then we'll just simply write the follicle size on the tape. If they do get bred, when they get bred, we give them a green tape. So green is any girls that have been bred and are under 20 millimeter follicle sizes. Once they're bred, they're growing good, they hit that 20 millimeter follicle size, they get bumped up into this kind of tape. It is orange, and you still just write that follicle size on it, and it makes it super easy to track. This way I know if the girl has an orange tape and she's not at 30, I need to get that last lock in. It just makes things super easy. We have a spreadsheet that we're probably going to do a video on our breeding plan, which tracks follicle sizes as well. But when you're just in your snake room, you need to figure out who to breed. It's really important to just have something on the tub that you can see, and it's easy to tell who you need to breed. But that's about it. I hope you guys take something from this video, whether it's how to ultrasound, our tape system, and how it's easy to keep track. Again, we're super excited to keep this channel going, bring super interesting content, things that we do that you might not do. We've kind of taken things from all different breeders and turned it into our own little system. And again, thank you for watching. Let us know what you want to see in the future videos, and like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you for watching. Thanks so much.